Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I just wanted to talk about Matchroom's expansion into Ghana, and in particular their announcement that they've just made about who's going to fight on that card. So Dan Azeez will fight Craig Richards in a light heavyweight bout. You've got Nishan Dev as well, who's just coming off a win in on the undercard of Jordan Thompson against Lenny Apera. And then you also have Leo Etang, the British heavyweight from the UK. So quite a lot of people on the card. Obviously a couple of like Ghanaian boxers as well. So first we'll talk about Craig Richards. Just looking at BoxRec on his on here. Losses have come to higher quality domestic fighters: Willie Hutchinson, Joshua Buatsi, Dimitri Bivol is obviously up there as a world champion, and then also Frank Buglioni. So he's lost to high level opposition. He's won against Shakan Pitters, who also lost against Brad Ray. So a good record. I mean, his fight against Joshua Buatsi was quite good. It was quite close. I thought Buatsi came forward, and Craig Richards came forward as well. They both met fire with fire. It was a good fight, entertaining. Just on Joshua Buatsi, I mean, it's interesting watching his fights with both Craig Richards and Dan Azeez, just watching the highlights of them on Sky Sports. And the contrast in his performance from what we saw at the weekend with Zach Parker. It seemed like, you know, Buatsi was a shadow of his former self. He just didn't engage, whereas with the likes of Craig Richards and Dan Azeez, he came forward, he fought, he did well. So it's interesting to see what he does next as he swapped trainers. There's been a lot of talk about him leaving his current setup now, which is based out in the States. Who could he go to? We'll just have to wait and see. But it should be a good fight. And then touching upon Dan Azeez. Dan Azeez recently fought in Lagos. I think it was on the undercard of who was the undercard? It was on the undercard, Brandon Glanton against Marcus Brown. That was the fight that was promoted by Amir Khan. So he fought back on the 1st of October. So this is just a short turnaround for Dan Azeez. Azeez is also coming off a win against Karami, and then his previous fight before that was against Lewis Edmondson, in which he suffered a defeat. I mean, it wasn't a thrilling watch. I just watched the highlights of that just now. It wasn't entertaining viewing. His other defeat came, as mentioned, against Joshua Buatsi. So I feel like in terms of matchups, I feel like they're both evenly matched. They've both sort of faced they've both like faced opponents that each of them have fought before and lost against those opponents. So they both faced Joshua Buatsi. They both lost against him. So I feel like it's well evenly matched, and it'd be interesting to see who wins. And then just a quick note on the undercard. You have Nishan Dev. It's quite interesting seeing how global Matchroom is trying to become. It's something that I've spoken about on my Instagram and a little bit on here as well, is that they are trying to become a global brand. This will be their first show in Ghana. And Nishan Dev is their first Indian signing. So they do want to get their name out there. And then hopefully Matchroom will, without a doubt, go to India and put on a show there, which is why they're trying to get the likes of Nishan Dev out quickly. I mean, he fought just recently, I think it was a 4th or 6th rounder on the undercard of Pero against Jordan Thompson. So it'd be interesting to see how much they quickly get out Nishan Dev and how quickly they can get him to fight in India and sort of build a fan base there. And then lastly, just touching upon Leo Etang. Leo's looked very impressive in his performances to date. He's only... How old is Leo Tang? Let's have a look. Leo Tang. Wow, he's only 18 years of age, so a lot of developing for him to do, but he's looked really impressive in the fights that he's had. I think he was meant to fight on the Sunderland card, but had to pull out with injury. So again, Matchroom are trying to grow the profiles of their fighters. Leo Tang is up there with one of their best prospects. So for him to go back to for him to, you know, fight globally, make a name for himself globally, will only enhance his reputation and will only enhance Matchroom's reputation as a global brand. So yeah, those are just some thoughts on Matchroom's first event in Africa.